Welcome to the Real Authority. Today I'm talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, the technically fourth installment in the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. It's the 4th of July and five friends find themselves on the road when suddenly a person accidentally gets killed because of their irresponsibility. So now they all vow to keep it a secret from everyone in order to ensure that they live on without any criminal charges behind their backs, I guess. So now 1 year later, it's the 4th of July again, and one of the friends receives a postcard saying, I know what you did last summer. So yeah, now they have to figure out who the killer is who is threatening them before they get killed themselves. I actually wanted to revisit the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer because they said that they were the only important movies, but unfortunately I didn't have a chance. I did catch the original 4 years ago, and I don't have exactly fond memories of it. I get why it's become this sort of horror cult classic, but I unfortunately wasn't a fan. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to revisit it, to see if my feelings have changed for the better. But all I remember is some boring, some unlikable characters. Helen Shivers is the only exception. And just an overall sense of the movie really does feel like a horror movie that was trying to appeal toward teens of the 90s. I at least know the big bits of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, such as Jack Black being in it and Benson, Ben's son. I know that twist, it sounds so stupid, and yet it happened. I guess it's a lot of stupid for the sake of being stupid, this franchise, and I get it, but in terms of this movie, the brand new 2025 movie, I had a bit of excitement, sure, but I wasn't entirely excited. It's the summer movie season, and as I said in my Smurfs review, this is like the throwaway weekend, and I meant that in a lot of ways. Because I wasn't expecting cinema with this. I Know What You Did Last Summer was obviously going to gear toward fans of the franchise, but more importantly, horror movie buffs that enjoy slasher films. But that's not saying that it wasn't going to try. I was hoping it would, but wasn't expecting anything amazing. And you know what? That was the right expectation to go in with. But it is entertaining, but it has so many flaws that I'm actually flip-flopping on whether I should give it a specific number or another number. I did enjoy it, though. Start off, acting's really good. I mean, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original, didn't really focus on the horror kills. It focused more on the mystery, and I felt that was a bit boring, and again, because of the characters. I felt like the characters they had were really strong. Plus, they bring back Julie James and Ray Bronson, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., which is appreciable. And for the most part, they didn't feel like nostalgia bait legacy sequel typical bringbacks. Although I will say Julie James has a decreased role in here, and she does feel more like a cameo. But Julie James is also the most likable she's been in the brief time she has. Freddie Prinze Jr. basically has to carry the legacy sequel back. And you know, I enjoy Freddie Prinze Jr. He hasn't really had a film in a while, at least a good film. He did a good job as Bronson. I do think he made the most of his part. Out of the 5 new characters, there's only really 2 that stand out, and that's Chase Sui Wonders and Madeline Klein as Ava Brooks and Danica Richards. Klein has this energy to it that's really relatable. I did like her character for the most part, even though she falls victim to a lot of the cliches that a lot of the other characters have. Wonders also, but I do think Wonders is perhaps my favorite out of the I Know What You Did Last Summer protagonists, because Julie James in the original was kind of annoying. Here, she's a lot less annoying and plus a lot more sensible to the situation. But ultimately, because of peer pressure, she just goes with it. I did enjoy and respect her performance. She definitely gives the best performance of the movie, a very strong, capable performance. If Ray Prinze Jr. carried the nostalgia back, she carries the new generation. Jennifer Caitlin Robinson's directing and screenplay alongside Sam Lansky was also surprisingly strong. Not perfect by any stretch of the word, but I do feel that they allowed for some inventive horror kills, but more importantly, allowing the story to breathe in a lot more of a compelling way than the original. So I did find myself more invested than I thought I would in these characters. Granted, the characters are much more stronger than the other ones. Maybe not as memorable, but I do feel they're better written than what I remember of the original. Again, I really do want to rewatch the original to see how much it changed in my perspective. Well, not as focused on as your average horror movie, the kills were not the best, but they were inventive enough. The original didn't have that much kills in it, granted, but I do think that with the kills here, they were strong enough to, I guess, justify a horror fan coming along, even though it's more like the original based on the investigation, the trying to find out who's killing them rather than the kills. Unexpectedly enough, Chanda Dancy's score was actually really great, absolutely increasing the intensity of the situation and the horror. So I gotta give props to that. Unfortunately, I said I had a lot of flaws, so I might as well start. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but how they reveal the villain was kind of something I was disappointed in. I wouldn't say that's exactly a complaint, more like I have mixed feelings about it. In no way I expected it, but I do feel the execution, especially relating to who they reveal as the villain, was very, I guess, controversial. Okay, again, in the actual negatives before I accidentally reveal much more. Even though the investigation was intriguing, I do feel there are a lot of moments that just dragged on. The pacing is not perfect. Enough so that I really latch on to the moments when thinking about whether or not I should give it a more nice review than it ultimately deserves. Again, still enjoyable, but the pacing does become a bother at a point. Also, unfortunately, a cliche in horror movies is dumb character decisions, and this movie tries to do nothing different. There are some decisions here that reminded me of the original Scream, which funnily enough, writer Kevin Williamson wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer 2 a year after Scream. But it made me feel like Randy Meeks in terms of character decisions, where I was like, you shouldn't be splitting up. You shouldn't be saying, I'll be right back, because a lot of characters split up for some reason. Even the most likable characters fall into this, which really sucks. I mean, they're not as severe as some other horror movies, but seriously, I am so sick and tired of dumb character decisions for the sake of dumb character decisions. The movie does fall into the dreaded nostalgia bait. A lot of legacy sequels do that, and while some moments are fine, I feel like the majority of them may annoy more than excite fans of the original. Overall, I Know What You Did Last Summer is a perfectly enjoyable horror movie that really does not offer a lot new to the genre. I do keep coming back to all the issues that it has, making me wonder if I should give it more credit than it ultimately deserves. If you're expecting a full-on Final Destination Bloodlines and Saw X of this franchise, you're not exactly going to get it. But yeah, I was entertained. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but I liked it enough to give it a slight approval. 7 out of 10. Yeah, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie or just give me suggestions for videos. Okay, I guess I'm gonna get out of here. Peace.